the opposition being at the table. I don't know whether that omission was inadvertent or deliberate. But I can tell you that if we want Jamaica to get back on her feet as quickly as possible, if we want to avoid social dislocation, and if we want people to feel that the response is equitable, is well designed, and is without political bias, it is important that critical stakeholders be at the table. And the opposition, with 28 seats in the parliament and almost the same number of votes in the last election as the government, should be part of that process. We are willing to.
I don't know if Mr. Golding is right in his speech. If he is not, he needs a speechwriter. If Mr. Golding is to stop speaking extemporaneously, extemporaneous talk, because what Golding just said here is loaded. Loaded. And I feel like I want to pick it apart and show you how loaded this is. Let me back it up a little.
Governance structure for this new authority. I had called for something of that nature right after the hurricane. I wrote to him about it. However, I noticed that he, at his press conference when he announced it, he made no mention of the opposition being at the table. I don't know whether that omission was inadvertent or deliberate. But I can tell you that if we want Jamaica to get back on her feet as quickly as possible, if we want to avoid social dislocation.
If we want to avoid what? If we want to avoid what? Did the opposition leader say if we want to avoid what? Now, social dislocation covers several things. If we're talking about people relocating, are we talking about uprising? Are we talking about disquiet? What are we talking about here? Mr. Golding, write your speeches, sir. Read from the script. Because you must not be misquoted, and we must be able to understand what you are saying. Because there is a view that you do not mind chaos. Is there any hint here when you speak of? Let me play it again, because you comrades have taken note.
Wrote to him about it. However, I noticed that he, at his press conference when he announced it, he made no mention of the opposition being at the table. I don't know whether that omission was inadvertent or deliberate. But I can tell you that if we want Jamaica to get back on her feet,
I can tell you Pick it up there. I can tell you that if we want Jamaica to get back on her feet, you better include the opposition. Wow. Well, I tell you this. I'd love for a comrade to come here tonight and tell me what it is that the leader of the opposition is talking about. If you want Jamaica to get back on her feet, you better include the opposition. Huh? Is that or else what? Or else what? If you don't include the opposition, then what? Go ahead.
As quickly as possible. If we want to avoid social dislocation, and if we want people to feel that the response is equitable, is well designed, and is without political bias, it is important that critical stakeholders be at the table. And the opposition, with 28 seats in the parliament.
Why is that necessary? You know, when a man states the obvious, leave that, you hear? Let me not trouble that too much.
And almost the same number of votes in the last election as the government should be part of that process. We are willing to serve.
The leader of the opposition is saying that he and his party are almost equal in terms of political support in Jamaica. That him and Andrew Holness got virtually the same amount of votes. Is there something being said here that he has 28 seats and he has gotten virtually the same amount of votes as the government? That is of no moment, sir. The democracy recognizes a government that first passed the post with 32 seats. It could be by one vote. They are the majority. It does not matter how many seats you have. The strength of the opposition is not determined by the seats. It is a constitutional office. Edward Siaga won 60 seats in an uncontested election in 1983. And invited private individuals to sit in the Senate. Eddie Siaga could have adjusted the Constitution, you know, could have changed it. And as vilified as that man is, Philip George, he is one of Jamaica's best, for he almost had absolute power and he didn't abuse it. The number of seats that you have does not weaken the role of the opposition. It doesn't. To say I have 28 seats is to assert an authority above what you have is to call on your numbers to make a point. You don't need to make that point by pointing to how many votes you got. If the government won 32 seats and the opposition 31, the government would still be the government. And the authority of the government is not limited by the seats it has. It can still appoint the 13 senators. I mean, there may be a little bit of challenge in the lower house with some pieces of legislation. You may need a 2/3 majority. But the opposition can still appoint 8 senators, government 13. Because the opposition is part of the governance structure, not government, governance. So why is the opposition leader continuing to repeat that he has 28 seats? Why? Why is that necessary? Why is it necessary to say, if we want certain things to happen, we must be at the table? You don't must be at the table. No. It is to the extent, separate and apart from what happens in the parliament, it is to the extent that the government wants to include the opposition. They don't must. There's no law and rule that says they must. I find this concerning, you know. It's 8 o'clock. As a matter of fact, it's a minute after 8. Give me a little more time, please, Caroline. About 10 more minutes, please. We need to get some support for Politics Plus tonight. The network needs some support. If you're in Jamaica and you want to give a donation to support Politics Plus, please WhatsApp 876-858-9553. If you are in Canada, please ask Caroline for the e-transfer. And if you're in the United States, ask her to give you the Zelle account or the Cash App. Now, finally, Mr. Cliff Hughes, Mr. Cliff Hughes did something today that I found to be quite good, and I want to share it with you. Listen to him.
Parliament setting out very clearly how his administration is going about rebuilding Jamaica after Melissa and in doing so, showing a grasp of not only policy and governance, but technocratic competence. Yes? Policy, but also governance and technocratic competence.
Said that the Prime Minister showed a grasp of policy and technocratic competence. You know, a lot of people who come on this program are labor rights. I guess a lot of my listeners are also supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party. And they have been telling me that Holness is the best Prime Minister that we have had. They have said it. I've taken my time to think about it and to watch him. He's very good. The Prime Minister of Jamaica is unmatched. Right now in the Parliament, he has no equal. You know, the Prime Minister completed a doctorate, a PhD. And if you have watched him over the years, you would realize that he has grown in stature, in competence, in confidence. And I think he is feared intellectually. Angela Brown Burke found that out last night. Now, Angela Brown Burke is also a doctor, not a medical doctor. She has her PhD. And although the tape is a little lengthy, I think it bears playing. Because there is no one in the Parliament today that can match the intellect, the skills of the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party. And I like how Mr. Hughes spoke of this. Quite frankly, it's going to be difficult to beat him, you know. I'm going to tell you the truth. I am a man that anyway, it's going to be difficult to all right, play on.
And technocratic competence. After the break, there was a moment as well in the Parliament when he was quizzed by the opposition, including the Shadow Minister of Foreign Affairs, Angela Brown Burke. You'll see that after the break. It's, of course, dominated by the government's Hurricane Melissa relief and recovery effort. And the opposition sought to scrutinize the response of the administration and the management of the recovery effort, as it should. That's why they're there, to scrutinize and to make sure that the government is getting on with the job. And there was this moment when the Shadow Minister of Foreign and Regional Affairs, Dr. Angela Brown Burke, questioned the Prime Minister about his government's response in the immediate aftermath of Melissa.
Are you aware that your statement that the government will prepare and circulate to all partners the detailed Jamaica Reconstruction and Resilience Program document, including costings, phasing, governance structure, environmental and social safeguards, and all of that detail will ring hollow if you do not ensure that there is indeed a coordinated and joined up approach to what it's doing? Or persons will begin to ask, as they have started asking, why is it this early relief program has been so chaotic, disjointed, and partisan in how it has been carried out?
Mr. Speaker, what we have seen here and the question asked is a classic case of bringing the false notion onto a public platform. I can say here, Mr. Speaker, I can say here, and the member from Southwest, I call her my neighbor and my sister. And I try not to be harsh. I try not to be harsh. But she's saying that she can manage. Mr. Speaker, the member from St. Andrew Southwest is not an expert in disaster recovery. The experts in disaster recovery have spoken, and they have spoken publicly on Jamaican media, on Jamaican radio. They have written documents, and they have said quite the opposite. In fact, they have commended Jamaica as a small island developing state for its response. The persons who peddle this falsehood, Mr. Speaker, seem to conveniently ignore that Hurricane Melissa was one of the strongest hurricanes to have hit Jamaica, not just in the Atlantic, but globally. It is in the top 3 strongest hurricanes. No other hurricane has done the level of damage to Jamaica in its border district than this one. None. Within hours after Hurricane Melissa, I picked up the phone and I called the acting chief of defense staff, the head of the NWA, the minister responsible for works, and I said to them, get the airport open. They were out there in the night checking the road to make sure, checking with the necessary authorities to make sure that place was like the following day. We were able to open the airport. Mr. Speaker, in a few days, hold on, in a few days, we were able to open the Sangster International Airport. In 72 hours, precisely. Now, let me be clear on this, Mr. Speaker. Let me be clear. Roads were blocked. Communities cut off. I don't like to talk about what the equipment capability of the JDF is. But we don't have enough helicopters. We just don't. It took 3 days for us to get additional airlift from our American friends, and I want to thank them for making the airlift available. 3 days. When I landed in Black River the day after, I sent a team by ground. That team could not pass through Holland Bamboo to get to me. When I called to say where they were still with machetes trying to cut their way through. JDF was there with them trying to cut their way through. Never forget it, a lady said she walked 20 miles. I saw her coming in to Black River, and she said a neighbor of hers was out in the storm and the wall fell on him and he died. And we asked JDF, as soon as you're able to mobilize, go and find this body. I mean, I would say we had about 5 operational helicopters. Now, you think about having just 5 helicopters 3 days after. How are you going to distribute that to deal with all the problems? The people who peddle that are unreasonable and they are lying. And they don't need Jamaica anymore. Now, Mr. Speaker, I am the first one to say that in the immediate response, there was a scramble. We don't deny that because we have never had this before. Institutions, you know, funny enough, Mr. Speaker, the members from Westmoreland made a very strong case that the disaster response was slow and ineffective. And you know, I reflected on it. I did, because every criticism, I take it and I look at it, because if I am wrong, I'm the first to admit. In the same way that when I looked at the response, I said in the first 3 days, we were all just trying to run around and trying to get things done. And you know why, Mr. Speaker? Because the member will tell you that the disaster manager for the parish fell ill, had a stroke, and that key person in the coordination of the response was not available. But I wouldn't only use that as a response, as an excuse. There were persons who lost their roofs, who were cut off, had no telecommunications, we couldn't find them. So to say that our response was slow, it's not just a lie, it's unfair. Let's make another point, Mr. Speaker. The Jamaica Defense Force stood up an operation, and we had to make strategic decisions about how we're going to use our resources. Strategic decision number 1. If there are people who want to come to Jamaica, who have the experience, who have the equipment, and who have the know-how to do this thing, let them go quickly into the areas. So I see people saying, I don't see nobody from the government. The only person I see is from the Lacovia police station. How you think the aid got there? You think they just swam into Jamaica? Yes. The government opened the airport. The government cleaned the road. The government escorted them. Don't talk nonsense. To ensure that all the people who you see out there who want to give aid to Jamaica, that they are able to do it. You think they come here without ensuring that there are security guarantees? Who you think gives them the security guarantees? You think the stuff that they have just move automatically, just materialize where they are? How many convoys you see moving with the security forces carrying them through? Don't talk nonsense about there was no government presence. I want to give commendation to the police. The JCF needs special recognition in this disaster, because with roofs blown off, no electricity, they stood up. When I went to Black River, the police station was destroyed, nothing. They didn't have any electricity. One of my first order of business was to secure generators. I gave 4 generators to police stations. I don't go out and make this public because that's not my role or my job, but I did it just to make sure that there was a center of response. Yes.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness last night at Gordon House in the Parliament on his feet responding. And you know, I tell you, I am very concerned about a disease that is taking root in our politics. It's a disease that is being normalized in certain democracies. The democracy to the north of us, our friends in America. The Trump disease, the lying, the normalization of lying. And I've spoken about it here. And in that, what you saw in the parliament yesterday is an evolution. So those kinds of lies that are peddled, especially on social media, we see the opposition now legitimizing it in the parliament. And it is something that poses an insidious threat to our democracy, where we lie. And if you don't tell a blatant one, you tell a half-truth. And you push it out there. And you pay people to repeat it. And if they repeat it often enough, enough people will begin to believe it. It is an insidious and dangerous threat to the democracy. And the Prime Minister, I think, responded quite appropriately last night to Mrs. Brownberg. This is what one of the leading disaster experts at the World Bank told us right here on Nationwide a week or two ago. Yes, I'm going to read it for you. She is a senior infrastructure specialist at the World Bank, Artesa Saldivar Sally. And she was speaking with us week before last Wednesday on Nationwide at 5.
I've worked in the biggest countries in the world. I worked in the smallest countries in the world. I worked in post-disaster reconstruction in Indonesia, China, the Philippines, Turkey. Guess what? It is world leading that your National Works Agency has framework contracts with all their contractors so that 6 days after landfall, you have 100 contractors all over Jamaica clearing roads. They're already there, they're stood up. These are contracting arrangements that are very rare, even in what we would think of as, sophisticated places.
You heard that. A World Bank specialist, a disaster expert, all over the world. And she described the Jamaican response as world leading. And yet, we heard that from Dr. Brownberg in the parliament yesterday. Also in the parliament yesterday, you watch and you decide. The opposition leader, Mark Golding, raised a question surrounding the terms and...
All right, so there you have it. That's from Nationwide, courtesy of Mr. Cliff Hughes. We're going to go to Scratchy next. Those were the neighbors' notes. Neighbors' notes for tonight, 26/11/25. Please remember to support the live. the night to you, Scratchy. How are you doing?
Blessed night, neighbor. Blessed night, everyone on the platform and the viewers. Blessed night, neighbor. So,
Scratchy, a normalization of line has now hit the parliament. What is happening in Jamaica?
I mean, let's be specific, neighbor. When you say hit the parliament, neighbor, on the opposition side.
Yes. The questions asked by Mrs. Brown Burke, Mr. Hughes is concerned that the lies are being normalized and are being legitimized in the parliament.
Exactly, neighbor. One of the places where these persons should come and know better. It just sad, neighbor. I said in the previous announcement, neighbor, that the PNP at the end of the day, neighbor, they're going to suffer from this type of behavior, neighbor. Well-thinking Jamaicans are looking on, Jamaicans who are in schools who understand, who are getting a better understanding of the governance structure, who are seeing the admiration that our Prime Minister is getting overseas, neighbor, and it is drawing them now to gain some form of more interest and understanding of this Prime Minister. And those young Jamaicans, neighbor, they come at some point in the next election, those are the persons who we're going to look to. And these are the things that they're going to use and make their decision, neighbor. So what the PNP is doing, neighbor, they are definitely just hurting themselves going forward, and I can see that, and everyone can see that. The PNP will definitely suffer the next time at the polls, neighbor.
Cliff Hughes is a senior journalist in Jamaica. Scratchy, let me declare that this platform receives no support from any political party. Let me just make that quite clear. Those of you out there peddling falsehood, suggesting that that we are being paid, you know of any payment to us, Scratch?
No, neighbor, I'm not. I'm definitely not as staunch as I'm being, as strong as I'm being to my party as well, neighbor. I'm definitely not being paid neither. I never seek to be paid either, neither. So definitely not, neighbor. I'm not paid for.
You're not being paid by the party to come here and peddle anything, are you?
No, definitely, neighbor. Anything that I come here, neighbor, I come here. I don't try to come and try to steal any from my line. I go by the facts, neighbor. Wherever the facts go, that's where I go. So it might seem to some person that I'm biased because I align with the JLP, but that's where the facts goes, neighbor. But I'm definitely not being paid, neighbor.
Well, there's a big thing going out there that I am being paid big money to do this on behalf of the party. I just wanted to make clear, God is my witness. I'm not suggesting that I'm not suggesting that may not happen, but at this moment, God is my witness, Scratchy, I have not received a single cent to do this work from any political party in Jamaica. And I want to make that very, very clear. Now, Scratchy, Mr. Hughes is suggesting that people are being paid to repeat these things. Wow.
I strongly believe, so, neighbor, when you look at the campaign from the persons online, neighbor, who are spewing the type of misinformation, neighbor, as I have often said before again, neighbor, it look organized, neighbor, it looks strategic, it look organized, and you can see that it's funded, neighbor. Based on what is going on, based on how strategic these persons are, based on the topic that they come with, they have a way how they come about. It's like they have an agenda. And based on what you're seeing, it is not being done from a spontaneous or authentic level. It has been orchestrated, it has been planned, it has been bought, it is paid for.
I am shocked, Scratchy, to hear that people are collecting money to do this on social media. People are being paid to do it. Wow.
Yes, neighbor. Pay persons from the especially on the opposition side, neighbor. They are definitely paying persons, neighbor, to come and bombard these type of platform, neighbor, with the misinformation and the lies. They don't matter. They're just trying to muddy the water, neighbor, and try to spew and try to change how persons think and try to change persons' mind against the government. But Jamaica is a country, neighbor, where even if we lose interest in our local agencies, them and we don't believe them, neighbor, we tend to believe what the overseas persons say. So I think the high admiration that the Prime Minister is getting right now from overseas is going to draw a lot of young people, neighbor, to really look into who the Prime Minister is, neighbor. And the PNP is going to lose a lot of these persons.
You know, Scratchy, I'm going to give you a break to respond to Keisha, because she has she has chosen to this
It's here, neighbor. It's You're good neighbor.
He's here. Let not your heart be troubled. Scratchy is here. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, Scratchy. On to serious matter. It concerns me, Scratchy, that our most senior journalist is hinting that money is behind social media lies. What amazing place we are in Jamaica.
It just shows, neighbor, that the opposition, neighbor, will try to gain power by any means necessary, neighbor. We have an opposition party, neighbor, that I told you before again is the worst opposition party that we've ever seen in the history of Jamaica, neighbor. Earlier on, I already made mention of Mr. Siaga, neighbor, one of our longest serving opposition leader, neighbor. A man who served as the opposition leader with class, neighbor, mannerism, neighbor, and style, who always have the best interests of Jamaica, despite being in opposition, neighbor. He didn't try to push upon the government certainly. You made mention of the fact that Mr. Siaga had 60 seats at one point in time, neighbor. He could have changed the whole constitution of Jamaica to make sure the Labour Party never lose the next election.
Yes.
And he didn't abuse his power, neighbor. And now we see where now we have an opposition leader here who don't have no power at all. He's trying to make demands of the government, trying to push up himself and the government a certain way. Keep talking about his 28 seats and talking about there's a close majority with vote and such like that. This guy, neighbor, is ruled by his ego. I don't know what is pushing this guy. And I think Mark Golden and the PNP, neighbor, they need to understand that in a two-man race, neighbor, when you lose, neighbor, you don't come second, you come last. So I don't know if this guy think this guy is behaving like he comes second. He didn't come second, Mr. Golden. You came last in the race, sir. It was a two-man race. So I just don't understand these guys, neighbor. And it is getting very concerning, neighbor. When you see a senior journalist like a Mr. Cliff Hughes, neighbor, can say that these persons are being paid. I'm telling you, they are being paid, neighbor. Anyone can tell you that. The opposition persons who support the opposition party, neighbor, and online, they are being paid, neighbor. They are orchestrated and it is planned. You can see them. Look at the type of persons where they are using to. It is being paid. They are paid for, neighbor.
No, Scratchy. We heard the country heard from the World Bank, leading disaster expert, Scratchy, coming out to say that Jamaica's response was world leading. Yet the PNP chose to go to Parliament to suggest otherwise. No wonder Mr. Hughes had to call them out for it, Scratchy. Appropriately so.
I'm very much appropriately so, neighbor. I applaud that by Mr. Hughes, neighbor, and I wish other media houses and journalists, neighbor, would do these type of things, neighbor. It's not a matter of supporting any government or being biased to anything, neighbor. We are following the facts. The journalists, you hold certain responsibility, neighbor, to make sure that facts are being spewed out in the information in the world, in the country by at large. So I applaud him, neighbor, and I am still concerned, neighbor, that a political party who seem to be the alternative, who want to be the alternative government, neighbor, is funding things like these, neighbor. These are bordering treason, neighbor. These persons can be. This is very treasonous, neighbor. Bordering treasonous, neighbor. Because with things like these, neighbor, you send a bad international look. Someone like that saying from a parliament, a member of parliament in the parliament saying that, neighbor. It was good how the prime minister came out with this rebuttal, neighbor, very strong, telling her that she's not a specialist in this area. So that's what you're saying don't make any form of sense. And you can say that she was shamed, neighbor. She was shamed. And I am glad the Prime Minister came out like that, neighbor, because I'm seeing on social media, neighbor, where the Prime Minister rebuttal of a lot of these things in the Parliament yesterday is making rounds. And these are what the things that we want to see, neighbor. So persons are pushing these type of response. And it is making rounds on social media, neighbor. Persons are sharing it. And a lot of persons are seeing it from a different angle that they might have never seen it from.
Yeah. The government had a press conference today, Scratchy. Senior journalist Dion Jackson Miller asked the Minister of Information a question. Listen to the minister's response.
East Westmoreland, why it took him so long to go there, and I had to show in the Senate by one of the opposition members. Thank you very much. That East Westmoreland question was the same exact question I got in the Senate on Friday by one of the opposition members. They said the same thing. Why didn't the Prime Minister?
Scratchy, the minister is telling Dion Jackson that she has asked the same exact question that the PNP asked in the Senate. What is happening here, Scratchy?
Exactly, but that's why this solidify my point here, but I'm telling you that this is planned. It is organized, it is planned, neighbor, it is organized, and it is funded. These are planned things, neighbor. It is not so coincident that the same question that was asked of the minister.
How could a journalist ask the same exact question?
Because these questions are being floated around, neighbor. Persons who support the opposition party are a part of the proxy group, neighbor. These persons have the ability to gain access to these questions, neighbor. This is orchestrated, neighbor. It is planned. All the attack that we're seeing coming towards the government, neighbor, from big media houses to some little nobody and social media, it is an orchestrated plan, neighbor, to make the government look bad in this disaster. It is not a coincidence, neighbor, that a senior journalist like Mr. Jackson Miller can come and ask the same question that was asked of the minister in Parliament. They are pushing that question. They wanted to ask it in the Senate. They want to ask it now in a press conference. They are trying to magnify something or create some form of uproar or make it look like there's something around that question. And it is just, neighbor, it is just so sad, neighbor, that we have an opposition like this, and not just opposition alone, neighbor. Traditional media houses, neighbor, journalists who are seen as senior journalists in our country. These persons are also against the government. And they're being also against the government, but they're pushing the negative narrative, they're pushing misinformation. So that's why persons are turning from traditional media, neighbor.
Yes, quite so scratchy. Let me hear from Gustav. Gustav, good night to you, sir.
Good night to you, my neighbor. Good night, Scratchy and Harry. Good night.
What's up, bro?
Fantastic. What's on your mind, sir?
Well, neighbor, pretty much sharing the same sentiments like yourself and also Scratchy. I was basically anticipating what I am hearing now from the PMP and also their surrogates. As you can see, patterns are adding up, neighbor. People like Jeanette Calder and the other one, Archer. All these people are the same people that came out and masquerade for the PMP indirectly, somewhat prior to the third. And as you can see, the timing and everything is showing that these people are aligned and also communicating with each other to tear down and peg away, as I said around 3 weeks ago. These are deliberate tactics politically to peg away at the Prime Minister's integrity and also peg away at the integrity and the fidelity of the government. However, I wouldn't say it is bearing the desired fruit that the PMP desires of it to. However, it is nonetheless embarrassing, though, my neighbor, the way how these expected persons that are, you charge them to lead from the front with integrity and fidelity and also patriotism. Now, regardless of their political hunger for power, there are other mechanisms, neighbor, that could have been utilized by the PMP to campaign, but to tear down a country and tear down the leader of the country and also tolerate and promote those that do so in a disrespectful way, especially using lies. And so, neighbor, and then taking it inside of the parliament, it is very disheartening, neighbor, to see the disparity and the low, the embarrassing low that the PMP will go to try to seek political office. And it is distasteful. And when you listen to them, the passion with which they speak these misinformation is also troubling. These people are spreading misinformation with tears, neighbor, and spreading it with compassion as if to say, oh, it's really, really sad. And what they're portraying is far from the truth and reality. And even the opposition leader, my neighbor, the way his antics is appearing to us, it's as if he's trying to use numbers to say, yo, you're barely winning us, so me I steal the money, so you have to watch how you deal with. And I'm also feeling, neighbor, that he's being compelled into responding to a lot of things that does not warrant him responding to, and even speaking falsely. I think he's being inspired by outsiders of the PMP, but nonetheless, PMP surrogates to say, yo, say something, man, say something. You can't just make the government to get pure good name, so, or don't allow the government to get any good name. These are deliberate mechanisms being used by the PMP. And you can see that the Prime Minister himself and others on the JLP side have recognized this and have basically positioned themselves better than the last time to refute and debunk these misinformation and disinformation, or generally the propagandas that are coming from the PMP and their surrogates and operatives, sir.
You are from St. Elizabeth, correct?
Most definitely, sir. I'm from St. Elizabeth.
And you actually are in the constituency of Zuleika Jess.
Yes, sir. Northeastern St. Elizabeth, for the record.
How is the recovery there going?
All right. So individually, the people themselves, neighbor, are trying to.
Hold on. Let's listen to your MP. Is she your MP?
She is the MP for Northeastern St. Elizabeth.
Your MP.
She is the MP.
No. Is she your MP?
She is the member of parliament, neighbor for Northeastern St. Elizabeth. If that makes her my MP, then probably.
That you give 100,000 to each beneficiary. I have not been able to do so. I have taken the decision that I cannot choose who should benefit and who should not. I cannot choose who should get help to put on back their roofs and who should not, when everybody needs help to put on back their roofs.
Gustav Scratchy, I'm coming to you, Harry. Gustav, have you guys taken the time to teach Miss Jess how the process works? Because Miss Jess sounds quite unaware of what to do.
Neighbor, let me tell you something, man. The persons that are quite familiar with Zuleika Jess and how she operates, and also her operatives within Northeastern St. Elizabeth in regards to the distribution of aid. People on her side themselves are complaining of being neglected, right? Because one set of comrades are being sorted out, while some with a lesser volume are being neglected. These are the talks of comrades in the constituency. Now, neighbor, this lady is not from the constituency. And bear in mind, she had a councillor that left prior to the hurricane, days literally before the hurricane, and had only landed back in Jamaica just a week or over a week now. The same councillor in the Silo division that went overseas during the burial period, again, he did the same thing. So what they're trying to do, neighbor, she and her operatives, they go around and they distribute aid, be it from volunteers or government, and they channel it directly in areas, only in areas where there are stronghold for the PMP. And neighbor, I am not making these are not fabricated information. In fact, to rub salt into the wound, she made sure that her campaign Old Time Prado, the Old Time Prado that politicians used to drive, it still has Zuleika Jess flyer all over it. And when that Prado traverses through Northeastern St. Elizabeth, neighbor, I put my life on the line to tell you this. Well, there has never been a stop of that vehicle at a random place. Whenever time that vehicle stops, it stops at only PMP people. In fact, someone in that vehicle would have said to a person that stopped the vehicle and requested a care package that that person must go and look for slowly. Can you imagine, sir? Someone said that from the campaign vehicle of Zuleika Jess to an individual in Northeastern St. Elizabeth. You think the MP does not know about this?
Wow.
Neighbor, there are people in sections of Northeastern St. Elizabeth that have not gotten water or seeing the water trucks come in their area. For example, in Williamsfield at a certain point. But yet another set of people can see two water trucks behind each other, and also other water assistance coming into one area of Northeast St. Elizabeth. Where is the MP offering this general assistance? To whom? Or which demographic of people does this MP seeks to make reference to in regard to dispersing aid in a bipartisan way? It is a literal lie from the pit of hell, and these persons will pay dearly for these lies that they're spreading with the passion that they're spreading them. Now, neighbor, if I even take off my green hat, this lady is a very lying lady. She speaks nothing but misinformation and lies. She has not told the public that her councillor in the Silo division only came back here just a week, as I said, and the people were already suffering and he could not have been reached. These persons are elected to carry out functions on behalf of the people. So when they're complaining of not seeing government, I wonder where they want the Prime Minister to be if it's everywhere. What are the functions of their councillors and member of parliaments? And she knows this, Neighbour, but what she does, she comes into the media and spreads misinformation to avoid accountability. But the people in northeastern St. Elizabeth wants to remind her, Zuleika Jess, that regardless of creating history in the constituency as being the first female member of parliament, she must also look at the downside to the history that she has inherited. She is the first member of parliament for Northeast St. Elizabeth for the PMP to have ever won by under 1,000 votes. In fact, she has one of the lesser numbers in a crucial election, according to the PMP consequential election in Northeastern St. Elizabeth. So if she thinks that this is a bed of roses or a stomping ground for her to come with misinformation and avoid accountability, well, she has her next guest coming, Neighbour, and we have numbers and everything else on our side to tell her that if she thinks she can beat around the affairs of our constituency by avoiding accountability, then she has her next guest coming, given the fact that she's also a stranger and does not hail from the constituency, therefore cannot relate to the plight and pain of the people of Northeastern St. Elizabeth. So we are also sending a warning to her as well. Don't feel too comfortable, because the history that you're boasting about is undermined by a greater history, which is numbers. And that number is showing that you have become the first MP for the constituency for PMP to have ever won, right? With so much campaign, still could not have crossed the line by over 1,000. And again, Neighbour, in London, they know how they won the constituency. So for her to be pretending as if all is well down here, she has her next guest coming.
Let's listen a little bit more.
And so every one of those 600 and odd persons who applied for housing assistance, I've submitted their names. And so it means that they're not going to get 100,000 each. It means that some of them going to get $12,000, which is only probably 3 sheets of zinc. But what do we do when the funding is not sufficient? And let me make it clear. I have PNP people who voted for me. I have JLP people who voted for me. I may have people who never support.
There were JLP people who there that voted for her, Gustav?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. These people were just genuine crossover PMP people who went back over to the PMP, sir. These were never labor rights. Nonsense, sir. Nonsense. Mr. Soley has gotten more numbers losing than he has gotten winning. All divisions, regardless of them pulling away, has shown us gaining momentum with numbers. So this is no stomping ground for them to skylark.
So she's saying that labor rights voted for her. You say that's not true.
That is not so, sir.
Wow. Okay.
The politics before and them go vote. So I don't care who people vote for. When I go into a community to distribute supplies or to assist people, I have never asked them who they voted for.
Is that true, sir?
That she may have not asked an information that is rhetoric, Neighbour. She already knows for a lot of cases. She knows who the persons voted for. She can judge by division. The numbers don't lie. And when she's assisting with the aid, she takes the people. For example, Shelley and Fraser, Movado. When these people were brought in the constituency, Neighbour, they were never brought in the constituency to just generally traverse to the constituency. If you look at the trail as to where these people were brought, Neighbour, and go by numbers, you will see the PMP is literally playing politics, because these people were brought in areas where they are predominantly strong. So these arguments by the member of parliament currently are false and misleading.
Well?
Once I have it, I'm going to share it, even though it means sometimes getting quarrels from your own supporters who feel as though you're helping the other side more than how you're helping them.
She's helping the other side. Labor rights are getting more help there than comrades?
No, sir. What she does whenever her own confronts her for assistance, she gives them an excuse. She finds some form of excuse to give to the people, sir. She does not have approval. In fact, Neighbour, make it make more sense. You think she just how she loves to gain political mileage, will be going around dispersing packages, care packages randomly to persons who she says is non-affiliated to her support base. Sir, to how she wants fame and prominence in the media, she would have videoed that. Let's go back how she operates. They would have videoed that and captioned it. Think about it deep. She wants to score political points. You can see that in her actions. You think she would have done that and just swept that under the carpet and not made it public? Easy to spot that is a lie.
Wow.
And I say this to say that we do not support the practice of division. We do not support the practice of undermining duly elected representatives whose only intent is to provide help for people who are suffering. We see people who are in need. We don't see JLP, we don't see PNP. We see
she's unbiased and unpartisan good stuff.
And she's lying, neighbor, when one set of people in the constituency constantly have to be buying water, with another set constantly be getting it free. Chuck after chuck of water. Where are these water going, neighbor? Again, let us make trail matters. The trail to follow these water delivery, it goes only in PMP predominant areas. And we have proof of this. And if it continues, when we're out with our phones, we're going to video them. Since she's so lying and blatantly lying, we're going to start recording what is happening throughout the constituency when we get a chance to. Pure lie. Damn lies.
We see people who are vulnerable and who are depending on the government to make the right decisions so that their lives can be better. And that's the only objective that we have over here on the People's National Party side. Now, finally, I speak to the issue of infrastructure. The constituency that I represent suffered not just physical loss to the houses or road work was completely destroyed in areas, particularly in Santa Cruz, where it seems as if a bomb was dropped overnight. We have holes in the roadways which were over 20 feet deep.
You have holes 20 feet deep in Santa Cruz, sir?
Well, Neighbour, I have not been where that site is. So if she has first-hand experience of that, well, kudos to she. Personally, I won't want to lie. I've never had the chance to experience what she just emphasized. So I would say I haven't seen it.
Have you been to Santa Cruz?
I have been to Santa Cruz on more than one occasion. However, though, being to Santa Cruz only in Santa Cruz proper. I have not been in the neighboring districts of Santa Cruz or the terrains thereof.
Wow.
No, I've tried my best to assist, but these are all temporary gaps, temporary stop gaps, by using the debris that had been washed away to try and fill back the holes so that people can't say that they are marooned. But what is the plan going forward? Because one more show of rain and the whole of that wash away, and people again going to be marooned. The people in Abraham, who even though we tried to fix the road and did the best that we could, they tell me that when rain fall, they still have to walk to get home up in the hills because the cars still can't manage because it's mud and dirt that was used. So it has slipped away and is slipping away. What is the plan? Are we going to wait until something disastrous happens before we put in place plans and solutions that will actually inure to the benefit of people? In Santa Cruz, we have a situation where all of the mud, all of the debris from the hills washed down into the town of Santa Cruz. I recommend.
Well, there you go. Good stuff. That's your member of parliament talking on behalf of her people. You are saying that some of the things that she's saying, you are disputing them. Let me ask, Scratchy.
Yes, neighbor.
Scratchy, these young, inexperienced members of parliament, I'm hearing, Scratchy, from a lot of them that the initial tranche of $10 million is not sufficient. Scratchy, if you and I have an understanding that the MPs are not responsible for the reconstruction, why is it that they are making the case for reconstruction when the government clearly says reconstruction is the job of the government? The MP is to intervene in emergency situations.
I mean, neighbor, listening to this new member of parliament, neighbor, perfect example, neighbor, of young bud when was storm, neighbor. And perfect example again of disingenuous. This lady, neighbor, is someone who's, to be honest, no disrespect to her or anything, neighbor, but she has become so annoying, neighbor. She has become very annoying, neighbor, since election day and worse in this crisis. She's so annoying right now. She's annoying me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that she's annoying right now. As an attorney, neighbor, I don't like how she speak. She don't speak like someone who's an authority, who's an attorney who have any form of sense, certain way. She's basically highlighting some magnitude of some damages down there, but that persons already know. We already know that the roadway break away. We already know that if rain fall, all of this is going to happen. We already know all of those things, but persons know that those things cannot be temporarily fixed right now or done in a quick fix manner. Those things are going to take a while. What about the needs of the people right now, Zulika Jess? You had the opportunity to come at a press conference where you have so many media in front of you and so many mics, and you choose to come talk one bag of madness and crap. I don't like that about these guys, neighbor. And this lady, she's getting so annoying, neighbor. She need to stop. And she making reference, you come at a press conference, gonna make yourself look so stupid. And sometimes I wonder where these journalists that goes to these PNP press conference come from in the neighbor. Because she's gonna say that she cannot give everybody 100,000 as she wanted. It look like a 12,000 some person will get. Who told you to do anything like that, Zulika Jess? Who told you to do anything like that, Zulika Jess? Who told you that everybody was supposed to get 100,000? Neighbor, the Prime Minister made it very clear, neighbor. The reconstruction and the rebuilding of the disaster area, neighbor, is not the responsibility of any member of parliament, whether you're a JLP member of parliament or you're a PNP member of parliament. It is not your responsibility. The Prime Minister did not give you guys $10 million or any money at all to reconstruct nowhere in totality. The Prime Minister would have never ever give you $10 million Zulika just to go fix road. You can't fix no road, Zulika Jess. You do have that skill. The Prime Minister made it clear in the neighbor. These guys are not specialists in disaster management. These guys are not architects. They are not contractors. Come on, man. Let the technocrats them carry the work. Let the technocrats them carry out the job. NWA, ADPEM, continue to use the $10 million Zulika Jess if you don't know. Let me tell you what they must do with the $10 million Zulika Jess. Because it look like you don't know. Zulika Jess, there are going to be persons within your constituencies who might need minor items. Use the $10 million to try to fulfill that needs right now. The time where you take the $10 million, boy, you fix.
If they need a couple sheets of zinc, you can give them, make them tack it on the house. Toothcat, Quatchy.
Yes, neighbor, you have a senior citizen on a roof gone, and you know, so alright, one little 30,000, I can put on back Miss May roof still, you know, Miss May and nobody else, you know. You put on Miss May roof. A $10 million you have. You have another senior citizen down there, so you know, so that senior citizen use senior diapers. You can buy 1 3-pack of diapers that can serve her for a little period of time. You buy 1 3-pack of diapers. That is what the $10 million for. Persons who might need a medication and can get from point A to point B to get it. They can provide a service, and them can go pick up the medication and come back. That is what the $10 million for. The $10 million is not for go build back the whole constituency and the community. You cannot do that, Zulika Jess. You know them skill there.
Listen to this. Listen to this man here. Listen.
The only assistance you have gotten from the government was the $3 million that was mentioned by Dr. Campbell earlier. Every other assistance with regards to food, packages, and water have come from private donors.
Scratchy, nothing come from the government.
That guy is it. Him not go see what come near, but he drop in a rum bar. He want a PNP friend bring things from give him and he make them rob him because he's in a bar. So I don't expect him to see nothing or know nothing that is coming from the government. That guy, I don't know how he become a member of parliament. Neighbor, listen to me. I believe they said that the government said they have donated over 200,000 packages, neighbor, within the period of time. So if 200,000 packages have been delivered, neighbor, it's simple. I tell you, say, neighbor, there's no way 200 packages have been delivered and that guy constituency don't get nothing from the government. That is a lie. That is a big lie. Open God earth, 200,000 packages must give out and your constituency don't get none in the middle of the disaster area. Come on, guys, stop telling lie, man. That guy is a lie, neighbor. It's a rum bar, that guy always in the neighbor. That guy is a junk.
Listen. I have to thank all of these persons who have been coming out. There have been major organizations, like for example, GEM that was mentioned earlier. But there have been numerous private individuals who have come into the parish. Some of them are from the parish, some are not, but they have lent a helping hand. And the residents of the constituency have been truly appreciative of what has been done so far. So just in closing, I just want to say Central Westmoreland needs the assistance. I know Dr. Campbell said he was the worst hit, but I would beg to differ because Central was equally hit, I think. And if you look at the stretch coming down from White House, after leaving Eastern Westmoreland and Bluefields, the entire stretch coming to Ferris looks the same way. If you turn going to Montego Bay, the entire waterworks stretch looks the same way as White House and Belmont. So it was total devastation in the constituency. And as I said, it's the largest constituency when it comes down to the amount of people, which means that we need special attention, and asking everybody who is listening to this press conference that we need as much attention as we can possibly get. But so I'm going to say to the residents of the constituency, the whole firm, we will do whatever we can to assist the process, and you can rest assured that you're a member of part.
I'm scratching. All of them basically at the press conference suggested that they didn't have enough. And I'm wondering, I've lost Scratchy. I'm coming to you, Harry. Coming to you. I want you to deal with something for me. I'm sorry. Let me just add back Scratchy a little bit. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes, Scratchy.
Yes, neighbor. Yes, neighbor.
Yeah. So all of them, Scratchy, are basically suggesting that they don't have enough to do the reconstruction. But I think, Scratchy, what I'm pointing out is that NARA is the responsible agency for reconstruction. What the MPs are to do now is to gather information and get it into the government and use the money that they have to do the immediate relief and to relieve the people's immediate stress. Isn't that what you understand this first phase to be?
Yeah, but that is exactly what it was meant for, neighbor. The first phase, neighbor, was meant to just relieve the stress of these persons right now, neighbor. Based on the system that the government has, neighbor, it is possible, yes, neighbor, that persons can get misplaced, or a person might not get a package at this time because of different reasons. This is why we make sure that the government makes sure that the member of parliament have resources where persons who might not get from one source can turn to the member of parliament who have $10 million to do these things. So this member of parliament need to be, this is where leadership come in, neighbor, and this is where the PNP is lacking. They don't have no leadership, neighbor. They don't have any skill. They don't know how to spend this money. All they can see is that all they can say is, oh, the 10 million is not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. It's not enough. It is enough to do what it is supposed to do. It is not enough to do what you want to do. So these guys need to understand, and this is what I want members of these constituents to know, that, neighbor, that it is not the government that is failing you guys, you know. It is not the government that is failing you guys. It's the poor representation that you guys made. Poor persons, the poor choice that you guys made at the polls 2 months ago by sending these mediocre persons, these nincompoop who have no leadership skills or leadership qualities, neighbor, and know anything about governance structure and governance system to come and represent you and cannot represent you well. They have $10 million for a constituency, neighbor, and these guys don't have the skill, neighbor, to break down that $10 million in a way where it can benefit the constituency of about 45, 30, 50,000 people. But you know, say yes, and it's like everybody has a benefit from the $10 million either. Most vulnerable, seniors, indigent, those are the type of person you look for in a situation like this. A man want 2 seats, I think you can give it, you give it. A man want 3 lot and him good, you can satisfy them because simple needs there. That is what the money is for. You cannot, none of these members of parliament have the resources or the skill to rebuild back any of these constituencies. The Prime Minister said in parliament yesterday, this must be done through the ministries and the agencies who have the budget to do it. None of you guys have budget to fix road. I don't know what I'm to them, neighbor.
Harry? Thank you, Scratchy. Stay here. Harry?
I'm here, neighbor. Night, everybody.
Harry, listen to this.
No, his question will be formed. It will be received as a presentation. Engage your mic, please.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. And
hang on, let me just say something. Okay, engage it again, please. Yes, thank you very much. And you are entitled by the standing orders to ask the minister a question.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, let me put it this way. You are entitled to question the minister. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you, Minister, for your presentation. I have 3 questions, 2 on the general response.
Yesterday and also
with respect to the different areas that I will talk about, and then one on the education sector. With respect to the restoration of electricity to the areas that are currently without, does the government accept that it erred when it prematurely announced the intent to end the JPS school license?
Did the government commit an error, Harry?
Definitely not, Neighbour. It has been something they've examined, and from what we know of this government, Neighbour, with anything that they're doing, they analyze it thoroughly. They seek the experts' advice and find solutions thereafter. So when the government looked into the contract of the JPS, they knew exactly what they didn't want the people of Jamaica to be facing, which they've been facing for several years under the previous contract or the current contract of JPS. So they didn't make a mistake with that, Neighbour.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Which, according to what the Permanent Secretary said at PAAC yesterday, has put the company in a precarious position now to find financing to support recovery to the tune of US $400 million. And that they have requested an extension of the license. Is Cabinet considering to grant that extension? That's the first question. Please, don't interrupt me. The second question, Minister, is with respect to the establishment of the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority. I know that the Prime Minister will chair an...
Okay, let's leave that and go to this. Go to that.
Representatives, Minister Darrell Vaz, yesterday in House of Representatives, Minister Darrell Vaz told us that JPS needs $350 billion to restore the electricity grid so that people can get electricity. He said that the government is going to take $150 million and lend it to JPS. I asked him, so what about the other $200 million? Are we going to ensure there's a plan that puts that money in place before we risk our 150 so that the full 350 that he said is the amount required is available to JPS? At that point, he went on a tirade, calling people bad mind, heartless, and all kind of foolishness. It was a simple question, it was a logical question, and it's a question they need to answer. Because we need the grid fixed. We need to fix as quickly as possible. It's going to cost $350 million to do it. Only $150 million is on the table. What's the government's solution for that gap? Simple. And Minister Vaz, I have one more question. If it's $350 million to restore electricity, and you're willing to lend them $150 million without knowing where the other $200 million is coming from, which section of Jamaica are you willing to sacrifice by proceeding without sufficient money to fix the problem? So if only part of Jamaica is going to get fixed, which parts are not going to get fixed? Because we only have $150 million and not the $350 that it will take to do the job. Yesterday.
No, Harry, what is happening here? The Senate last week, Friday, raised the questions about the money that JPS was looking. Cabinet met on Monday, 150 million is approved. JPS wants 400 million. You hear the minister in the parliament yesterday. My goodness, we don't have time to play that. And now the opposition leader is saying it appears as if is only part of Jamaica will be fixed based on the arrangement that the government has come up with. What is happening here, Harry? Clarify this for us.
Well, it's a simple case of I want to give the opposition the benefit of the doubt in this case, Neighbour, before I start ripping to pieces. But I don't want to say they misheard, or for many that didn't hear what the minister stated. The 150 million will be enough based on the time frame that they're working with for the restoration of electricity for the entire Jamaica, right? So what will happen is that the critical thing here is that we want to reduce the time from 6 months to just 2 to 3 months, the most, because of how critical electricity is for the recovery of Jamaica. Now, what we need to understand is that the most important thing is the JPS can always repay this money within the 2 years, right? What the opposition is currently trying to do is to miscue information to say, okay, being that JPS wanted 400, JPS didn't need 400 million to do the specific work that the minister requires of them, right? That's a difference. So based on the meeting, we haven't gotten the full information yet. The minister haven't disclosed that all details just yet, which he will. But based on the meeting, he got the agreement with JPS that 150 million will be enough to restore more than just the critical areas right throughout Jamaica. So that part where we hear the opposition saying which section of Jamaica they're willing to sacrifice. There's no willing to sacrifice no part of Jamaica, neighbor. Let's do the math. We're currently 74% on the grid.
By the way, on today, the JPS restored a section of St. Anne, and people went there with machine saw, go cut down the post, plunging back the whole community in darkness, you know. Sad. Go ahead, Harry.
Yes, neighbor. Well, I do hope whatever is coming their way, they get the full fledged of the law, right? But as it stands, we're trying to get the additional approximately 26%, or if we want to round to say, let's say 30% on grid once more. That 150 million, based on the discussions, is sufficient to get that on board and completed. I think further down in the clip, if we could have played it, we would have heard Minister Vaz stated that as well. But it's something the opposition is trying to rivet in people's head to say, listen, some people now gonna get electricity and the government will be the one to make that choice. So if you don't have electricity by X time, then you know is the government don't want you to have electricity, when that is total nonsense, neighbor, right? Because why
is he asking the minister that though? To tell which part of Jamaica will get light and which part will not? Isn't the JPS responsible to restore electricity to the entire island and not the minister?
Definitely, neighbor, because they have a contract to fulfill. What the minister is doing is trying to help JPS, because we do have an obligation to help them. They're the sole electricity provider in the country. So by law and constitution, we have to help them, or else our people will be the ones who face the poor end of the stick, right? And that is something the opposition apparently don't get, or they're trying to not let the people realize, because it doesn't matter, you know, how much it will cost JPS eventually. What matters is that we can get the people back on the grid. So it's not a matter of financing.
Isn't that the responsibility of the Jamaica Public Service to make sure that all its customers are back up? JPS is a private company, sir.
Right. And they would have done the analysis to have an idea as to what they want. And they made a suggestion as to how much more resources they will require to achieve the task. And that was 300 more line workers, trucks and other equipments. That $150 million can and will be sufficient for them to get that. That was what they asked for in terms of when they analyze the what is needed to achieve the goal. And if the experts from their end states that is what it is and that is how much it will cost, then who is the opposition to be questioning and asking which section of Jamaica? If the rest of Jamaica already have electricity, 74% of Jamaica have electricity, why is it that they're trying to distinguish to say the other 26% there be some sacrificial thing happening there?
Let's listen to the exchange between the minister and the opposition leader. Hold on.
Mr.
The context of your presentation in relation to the JPS situation is that the license expires, I think.
Speaker, let me indicate very clearly for all of Jamaica to hear. The meeting that we had yesterday morning, where the Minister of Finance and the Financial Secretary was there, we ironed out a way forward, realizing the seriousness and the time-sensitive nature of this response. So the first answer to your question is that this government is prepared on behalf of the people of Jamaica to release the $150 million in whatever tranches are required as quickly as possible to get the restoration going. And that's the difference between a caring government and somebody who has a financial background. The people want light. Okay? So let me just make that clear.
Point of order, Minister.
Point of order.
Minister, point of order.
His feet, talking. The minister is standing on his feet, talking into the mic. You don't need to personalize your response. You don't need to get hot under the collar. It's a legitimate question I'm asking. And I'm just, so don't bother about having a financial background. I want to know a simple question. Are you going to ensure the funding is in place? And now you're coming back and personalizing it in a totally unnecessary way.
Let me repeat. The member is saying that his position is that he would not release the $150 million unless he knew where the $200 million was coming from. That's what he said. Mr. Speaker, let me just say it again. Based on the meeting that took place yesterday, we are confident, based on the meeting that had the representative of the Ministry of Finance at the highest level, the Minister and the Financial Secretary, you can't go any higher, that we are prepared to release the $150 billion tonight if it means that the people are going to get back light sooner than later. Mr. Speaker,
Members.
Mr. Speaker.
Members, all minister. Members.
You are a wicked and a wicked and evil. Bad mind don't go on yet from September 3rd.
Members.
Wicked and evil. Mr. Speaker.
Minister, hold. Members. Members from the opposition side.
You are an uncaring set.
If you
are
do,
a heartless set.
if you do not allow the minister to continue, then we will have to go to something else. Please. You do not have the floor. Member from St. Catherine North Central, you do not have the floor.
Mr. Speaker.
You will find out in short.
Mr. Speaker.
Go ahead, Minister.
The $150 million that the government is prepared to release as soon as the documentation is in place, which will be no later than a matter of hours to a day, because of the urgency, is specific for restoration over 2 months, December and January. That $150 million is ring-fenced to deal with a restoration program that will take care of Jamaica, not only some parishes. And if you are going to tell me that there are people in this house that would question a government in a crisis like this, to hold $150 million that we have availability now, to find out about $200 million, which can take another month or 6 weeks.
All right, Harry.
Yes, Neighbour.
Yes. Can you just break this down for us, Harry? Because this seemed to be a controversial matter right at this point. The people of Jamaica want back light, Harry. Why is the government lending JPS $150 million? Let us understand that first.
All right. Simply put, Neighbour, we need to get the entire country back on the grid, right? Especially those areas that are key areas for like our tourism and other entities, just pointing out a few. So it is the government's job to ensure that they can assist as much as possible to get the citizens of Jamaica what they request or what they need,
And that is because JPS does not have the capacity or resources or the funding to do it.
Right. So they don't have the time to garner the resources as at where it is, because
JPS would have to go borrow money to buttress what it now has to meet deadlines, timelines to get everybody back on the grid.
You get it right, because as it stands for them, there is no the timeline just doesn't work, because 2 years remaining on their contract, and you can't necessarily go to market or get any form of agreement within 2 years.
Yeah. Yes. So then the JPS is asking either for an extension of its license so that it can go to market to borrow the money.
To borrow, right.
And the government is saying, no, we're not extending the license. We give you the money.
Right. So we'll give you, right. We'll give you a loan. And then if, right, strong if, because of course we know the terms and conditions is what the government is looking to have change. So if they do get another contract with different terms and conditions, then JPS can go ahead and raise whatever money they want. But as it stands now, this is what you need to complete what we need. So we're going to loan you that 150 million so you can complete it, and you pay us back within 5 years, and preferably within 2, which is risk-free for the country. What Marky G and the opposition is trying to do is to say there's a high level of risk. So they're trying to highlight a risk factor that really and truly doesn't exist. And that risk factor is to say, why are you giving them 150 million when they say they need 2 times that, the least? It is not prudent. This is what they're trying to say. It's not prudent and wise until JPS can show that they can put up the rest of the money. That in itself, Neighbour, if I have an advisor who says that to me, then he'll get fired straight away. Because as the minister, as the government, your major stakeholders is the people. And also it is the people's money that you are investing back so the people can get a return. And in this case, the return is that them get back light and get some level of normalcy and keep their life going on. So if you're going to have to wait until a private company go and try to find the rest of the money, or you don't do everything from your end, because this is the bind that they want to catch the government in, to say, okay, JPS can't raise the money, and you not giving JPS the money as well, because there's 2 sides to it. If you don't give JPS the money, it simply means you're holding out on the people. So they're trying to play a 2-card trick. But then the administration is well ahead of them. I guess because they don't have the information as the opposition. So they didn't know that all of that agreement was done, and they've seen based on the analysis and the results that they have. So that's what they want to catch the government in, to pin the people against the government, to say they don't have their best interests at heart. And what
why is the opposition leader not satisfied in Parliament came out today with a video asking Mr. Gars which section of the island will get back light? What is this about, Harry?
because they know not many people understand the intricacies of this type of deal, neighbor. Normally, based on what the opposition is trying to do, anything that requires money, they skew the lines and they spread misinformation. So they know once a few people that they have running around hear about money, they can try to say, hey, there's no accountability, or they don't have your best interests at heart. So these are the lines in which they walk, neighbor. And as such, they were actually doubling down with that bill to try and say, which section will you have to sacrifice? Because here's why they think it's smart. In the average man's mind, if you need 400 and I give you 150, it simply means that you're short. And how the mind work is, if you're short, it means you have to sacrifice something. And that is what they want to play. I don't know who did speak in terms of the opposition trying to speak onto the emotion, appealing and appeasing the emotions of the people. This was another attempt.
Okay. Thank you for that, Harry. Hold on there, Harry. Good evening, Mr. Chops. Chops? Well, not hearing him. His microphone is closed.
Yeah, man, I'm here, man.
Yeah, you had your microphone turned off. Chops, you wanted to add.
Yeah, man, I muted because I didn't want any disturbance there.
Yeah, you wanted to add a few comments to this JPS issue. Any clarity you can bring?
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say clarity because I think most persons here seem to have quite a good understanding of what's happening. But what I wanted to say to folks is that JPS is not necessarily a private company because the government of Jamaica has a 20% shares in there, 9.6 or 90.5%, close to 20% shares in JPS.
Less than what the government is actually lending. Go ahead.
I beg your pardon?
No. What I'm saying.
So they have a 20% share in Neighbour.
Go ahead.
Less than the money that we have lent. Yes. But that's okay because you're not lending against the shares that you have. Right. You're lending against several other mechanisms because as the minister outlined, worst case scenario, JP is sold to anybody before the government chooses, and they will leverage the amount outstanding with that. So that in of itself is ironclad.
No, we're not.
For the interest.
No, we're gonna have to.
Let's just get running.
No, we're struggling to hear you though, Chops.
Oh, you're not hearing me, neighbor?
No, sir, you're breaking up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bad. I thought you had a good connection there. I'm sorry.
No, connection is bad. I don't know what we can do about that. Let's see if we can take a little break here and get. Well, we're at 28 after 9 o'clock. Well, you know, listeners, we're in a little bit of a crisis, you know, because based on based on how the program has done this week, the best week for the program in terms of viewers, yet the worst week in terms of contributions and sponsorship. That's paradoxical, but it is what it is. Please, if you can support us, we're asking you to do that. The Cash App and Zelle number are available for that. If you need the program to be produced and the standard to go up, then you must help us to. We don't take advertisements.
Neighbor, I see Isadora asking for the Zelle.
No, we can't even show things on screen. The algorithm blocks us off. So
I know I won't be able to repair it.
all right, I'm sure Caroline
And with all
will send that to her.
you've been hurting.
All right, Harry, before we have to jump off, Harry, I think that the people of Jamaica, what they are concerned about Harry is getting back their life. By the way, the Zelle for you, Isadora, the Queen, is 954-635-8732. That's 954-635-8732. Have you gotten it? 954-635-8732. The people of Jamaica want back their electricity, Harry. So they don't want to get involved in all of this. They just want, I think that's what they need to start fighting for, correct?
Definitely, neighbor.
Neighbor, this whole JPS thing, the neighbor. I say, neighbor, you see, but most persons don't understand. Based on what the JPS is saying, neighbor, the JPS is basically saying that where they're at right now and with the work that is to be done, it is going to come back, it's going to take about June, July for the rest of the island to get back light. Now, the minister, neighbor, is simply,
Next year.
Yes, next year, June, July, it will take before light come back. Now the minister is saying that is unacceptable. He's not going to sit down and take that. Now, neighbor, we must also remember, neighbor, that the minister is also the cabinet minister who starts with the responsibility by the prime minister to lead the recovery efforts of this Hurricane Melissa. And he's also the responsibility for JPS. So this minister now, neighbor, and I'm own mind, and between cabinet and everything, decide that we cannot allow JPS to give back people like July. Whatever JPS need, we have to help. Because, neighbor, you know the misery index with not probably assault a large section of the island that can cause against the government, neighbor.
Can you imagine?
The government is not stupid.
But Scratchy, today JPS restored electricity to several sections of St. Anne. Only for someone to take them power saw and cut down the post, cut off the light for the whole place, Scratchy. Obviously, some sabotaging them, or they're thinking because their light not come back, the other people can't have light, Scratchy. Why we still like this, man?
Exactly, because we have an opposition neighbor who are when time you have a leader like Mark Golding come out and say, oh, we are going to decide to get light. And rally your people now for feel like says there's a thing going on where we are give some and not give some. That is what we need to understand, neighbor.
JPS can. JPS, Scratchy, cannot be political in restoring light. JPS is about collecting money from their customers, and the more customers they have on their grid, the more money they will make. Because
but what I want them to also know, neighbor, what I want persons to also understand and know, especially comrades need to understand and know, neighbor, because this most happen in areas that is dominated by comrade. Neighbor, JPS is not going to prioritize that area where they are not receiving any form of light bill money from, neighbor, over a section where majority of persons are paying them light bill. They can't do it. They're not going to do that, neighbor. JPS is not going to come give you...
It's business.
It's business, neighbor. JPS is not going to come give you like around here, so them realize, all right, 20,000 people around here, so about here we go on now, in the real sense, 10 people alone are pay light. 20,000 live around here, so 18,000 are pay light. 18,000 around here, so what pay them light, they're going to be priority, neighbor.
You want that make perfect sense.
That make perfect sense. I did it. So these comrades, neighbor, who are bad about them light is because we want to live majority of persons are not paying light.
Well,
so the government can't prioritize you guys, but they don't understand these things.
The JPS, Scratchy. The JPS.
Yes, they don't understand these things, neighbor, that the JPS have to know what they are doing. They have to make sure that It's business them are the same way in the neighbor. It's business. The JP is not a social program.
Correct.
It's business them are run. It's business them are run. So if you might say, oh, them don't listen and appeal light, but them get back light, it might possibly neighbor that them have some that are important institution like a hospital close by them or something of that magnitude that is so important that they have to get back light, and because them feed off for the same grid, we support the hospital, it happens that the community they get back light. It's not to say they are being biased or they're being politically new them again light. So the opposition need to cut that rhetoric, neighbor. And I applaud Mr. Darrell Vaz and our movements, neighbor, because let me tell you this, neighbor. Who could have want to give back the people them house, and who could have want to build back house top and build back roof if them not have light, it's a different ball game again after that.
Yes.
And when time we have light, neighbor, light lead back to light lead to the advancement of livelihood. Because right now it's daylight saving time. Where in those places, neighbor, don't want St. Elizabeth night would have come from 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock night start draw from those places. So the government want these people to get back light so that they can bring back them life to some level of semblance. Business places are closed early because of no light. So I applaud Darrell Vaz on that move, neighbor. Cannot wait till June, July. If it takes $150 million US to get them going and the government can do it, go ahead, Mr. Vaz. I have no problem with that.
Right. And quite frankly, it is a loan that JPS is to pay back. And
it's a loan.
Yeah, it is a loan. Harry?
Yes, neighbor.
So the fact of the matter, Harry, is that you believe that the government is on the right path here, in making this money available for JPS, and that everyone will get back light within the 2 months or so, as against this.
Definitely, neighbor. Right? It has to be that you prioritize the people, and one of the things we need to understand is a loan, guys. Is a loan. If when the rest of the agreement is outlined, we'll see why it's also a risk-free investment. So it goes two ways, neighbor. It is the government taking the stance, using the people's money, because of the country money, to ensure that we're well lit. And on top of that, we're getting interest payments over a period of time, neighbor. In fact, we will probably be getting back that money and the interest before 2030, before the next election. And that money will also go to additional funding in the budget and in our kitty. So I don't get why the opposition just keep on politicizing this thing. I know there's another aspect to it where they were saying which entity of the government will go ahead to stand the cost for it in terms of paying out the money and so on. And Marky G just know that he's not speaking the language of the people. And that is why Darrell Vaz pointed out the difference between him and a financial advisor, neighbor, because all he cares about is the money and trying to find out who and what he's doing with it. When Darrell Vaz prioritizes the people, which is your most valuable asset as well as a country.
Yeah, man. All right, let me get some closing comments from my panel, and some closing comments from my panel, and then let's see if we can take 1 or 2 calls before we wrap at 10. Again, we're making an appeal to our vast amount of listeners to give a little bit to push Politics Plus forward. Yeah. Dig in and help us out. I know some of you are always giving, and you're doing it for your country, you know. Yeah, I tell you. worthy cause, a worthy cause. The work that we do, we don't talk about, and the cost that we put in. Myself, Caroline, we don't talk about it. Harry, Scratchy, well, I can tell you it's a lot. The budget for this program is a phenomenal one. And you are consumers, you are listeners, we're asking you to support it. That's the only way we're going to be able to continue doing this. It's not a payment, you know. It is to support the network. Well, until we are able to secure sponsorship, the listeners will have to do it. Isadora the Queen. Great to you, Queen. Thank you so much. Come on, Zelle $10. Quickly, come on, everybody. Zelle $10 in. Come on, get into your account and Zelle $10 to Politics Plus. Do that for us tonight. Because we need to be here Thursday. That's tomorrow. Okay, so we were not able to pay for this morning. That's short. And we need to be on tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening. Okay. All right. And it's the 25th, 26th now. So all the expenses become due already. What expenses, you ask, neighbor? Well, talk to Caroline. She'll tell you that it is, you know, okay. We ask you. Are you in Canada listening to us? We have e-transfer there, you know. Ask Caroline to send you the e-transfer and please do this for your favorite program, not true? Keep your favorite program on air. 15,000 listeners per day. And we're going to take that up to 30,000, you know. 15,000 listeners per day. Yeah. Hitting almost 200,000 per month. And we struggle to collect small dividend to pay for each program. So why do we take that amount per night? Because cumulatively, there's a budget that we put up for production costs, for internet fees, for equipment replacement. The cash app is going to be posted for you, Berries. Berries Norris too. Look out for that. It doesn't matter what amount you send. That is going to be appreciated tonight. Not asking you for 100, we're asking you for 10, 20. That's a beer. That's a credit. We don't have internet here, we can't run this, you know. So we must pay our internet bill and trying to see if we can get Starlink, so that we'll always have internet. We're also trying to see if we can get some backup power so that if electricity goes, yeah. And then you see all these lights that are burning here? They have to be paid for. You see this background here? It's not for free. And so when you run your electricity for 3-4 hours, JPS sends you a bill. And even as I'm sitting here, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 4. 4 computers. No, 3. 3 computers that are plugged in before me here. They're all plugged. You see this music that you hear playing in the background? Well, that's coming from a system that uses electricity. And below me here, there's a backup power supply. Just in case the electricity goes away, it will stay on for a little bit. So we're pretty set. We're pretty set. Some things we have taken out on credit that we have to pay monthly installments for. We don't tell you that, but that's how it goes. By the way, I need a new pair of earphones. This one here is giving me a little bit of a problem. Can we get a new pair of headphones, please? We have to turn this on. I'm going to turn it on here. It's cracking a little. Del. Oh boy, I tell you, I have to cut down the post. I will not pay no bill. No, sir. Yeah. Del, I need a new earphone, okay? Anyway, so listeners, thank you so much for supporting. You hear, please. If you know that if you all commit $10 per week, we would get this done. And I don't want us to be sound like we're begging. We're not begging. We're asking you. So Scratchy.
Yes, neighbor.
Scratchy, the Prime Minister last evening made his party proud, made Jamaica proud, Scratchy, with his response in the Parliament. It was phenomenal, Scratchy. Holness is distinguishing himself as a world-class leader. There is no question about that. Kudos to the Prime Minister. He's on top of his game.
I mean, definitely, neighbor. Kudos to the Prime Minister, neighbor. The Prime Minister has been the Prime Minister from 2016 to the present, neighbor. He has grown in that office, neighbor, grown in that position. There's nothing new or nothing that phases him right now, neighbor. I understand he's more mature. You see a different Prime Minister from when he just started out. He's much more mature, neighbor, more level-headed. You understand disaster. And a Prime Minister, neighbor, who's have no match to his opponents, neighbor. He's no match, not one thing that his opponent can match him in style, his leadership qualities or anything, neighbor. And this is why the PNP and supporters, and they jump on this Prime Minister like this, neighbor, and try to bring him down. And they have been successful, neighbor. They know that something is not right because they have always been successful, neighbor, in trying to tear down other leaders of the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor. But they've been trying to tear down this one now since 2016 and before that, neighbor. They can't seem to win. And they're wondering what is the problem, why it is so hard to bring down Andrew Michael Lowness. They might thought that they were successful in bringing down Edward Siaga. They use the whole incursion thing and bring down Mr. Bruce Walling, but they can't bring down Andrew Lowness, neighbor, because he learned from what the PNP did to past leaders of the Jamaica Labour Party. He tried to advance, neighbor, and be one upon them or 10 upon them, 10 step ahead of them. And neighbor, is no there are no match to him, neighbor. Not one of them in the Parliament, neighbor.
Did you hear Dayton Campbell virtually apologizing to him about how he treated him on the campaign trail? Did you hear that, Scratchy?
I mean, definitely, neighbor. They neighbor. A lot of them, neighbor, based on how they treated him over the last campaign trail, neighbor, based on all the accusation and the misinformation and the slander that they brought against him, neighbor. seeing him now right now in the parliament, neighbor. A lot of them coming up close and seeing him right now in the parliament, neighbor. Seeing how he commands, neighbor, how he lead. They have no other choice, neighbor, but to come to reality with their conscience, neighbor. It's a conscience, neighbor. It is gonna beat you. And Damien can be conscience beat him, neighbor. And he definitely have to make that apology to the Prime Minister, because what they were shown and what they were told about him, neighbor, seeing him right now up front and close to and personal, neighbor, they are shocked and they admire his leadership style and his leadership quality, neighbor. When you look at the Prime Minister, neighbor, you see a man who is in charge. You see a man who fully is in control. And I tell you, neighbor, as much as we are in this disaster, you look at your leader, neighbor, and based on the impression or the facial expression of your leader, you can tell where the country is at, neighbor. And looking at my leader, neighbor, I am telling you, I am 100% proud. I am not worried, neighbor. I am optimistic that with Andrew Michael Wallace, Jamaica will rise to whatever we are going through right now, neighbor. The man don't look timid one bit. The man don't look worried one bit. The man look like he have this under control, neighbor. He always look like he's saying, I know more than what you guys know, so you guys just relax. A lot is to come. I voted for him 2 months ago, neighbor, and I will stand with him right through. And believe, say, there's a lot to come.
Yeah. You know, Scratchy, when I listened to the Prime Minister yesterday, unscripted, answering a question, spending 20 minutes to go back and to be comprehensive, I think even opposition members were in awe there yesterday, Scratchy. Opposition members were in awe.
Yes, neighbor. A lot of them, neighbor.
And you know something, Scratchy? Wholeness seems to be getting better.
Neighbor, he's getting much more better, neighbor, because he's not just a leader, neighbor, who just come and want to be a leader, neighbor. This is a man who research, neighbor, him go and get himself more equipped, neighbor. As I said earlier, and this man went and get a PhD while he was the Prime Minister of the country, neighbor. That is no easy feat, neighbor. We don't see a lot of leaders do those things. A lot of persons become Prime Minister, they tend to believe that, okay, this is the highest level I can reach, or what more would I need to go and get in a PhD for? The Prime Minister went and got his PhD, neighbor. Neighbor, looking at him, you can see that this man is fully in charge. I can tell you, you can put 1,000 man right now, neighbor, in a straight line and bring a man from space and tell him choose the Prime Minister, and I guarantee you, he's going to choose Andrew Michael Wallace just by looking at him. He said, this is the Prime Minister.
But even within his own party, Scratchy, I don't see anyone in the Labour Party that even comes near to his intellect, his ability. Even over on his side there, Scratchy, I don't see anybody that can handle questions like he can.
I mean, like, I would definitely agree with it, neighbor. Not disrespect to anyone, neighbor. We have a better bench than the opposition, neighbor. More that has more strength and more creativity and more to offer to Jamaica. But despite that, the leader of the team right now, neighbor, is unmatched. None other person on the Jamaica Labour Party side can match the Prime Minister level right now. And he's not just his leadership quality, neighbor, but his ability can speak on any single ministry, neighbor, unscripted as well. He can speak on any sector of governance. He don't have to tell you that he's going to check that. He knows what is going on. He can't see that, neighbor. He leads the cabinet. He knows what is going on. And he delegates, neighbor, just like any good leader. So anyone who's saying that the Prime Minister, they don't see, this Prime Minister delegates, neighbor. He let persons who are in their command take command of their position and they report to him. I admire him, neighbor. And I think the opposition, neighbor, a lot of them who were on the campaign trail who didn't get a chance to up close and come up close and see the Prime Minister up close, I think they're now realizing, neighbor, and they're getting a different understanding of who this man is. They realize that this man really has Jamaica's best interest at heart, and they realize that he's nothing compared to what the leader and other persons were trying to paint him to be, and they are now acknowledging that.
Yeah. Harry?
I'm here, neighbor.
I don't want to. Holness is handling of questions in Parliament yesterday. Very impressive, Harry.
Definitely, neighbor. I think he was actually waiting on this opportunity as well. Because, of course, based on what he stated the last time, saying when he speaks, there are certain people who is afraid in a neighbor. And I think he has just flexed his muscle a little to the people of Jamaica to let them know that, hey, these are the things I am doing for you, and I'm going to put certain things to bed, which you know, we've been speaking on it for a while, and I wish it did come a little earlier. But he knows what he knows, neighbor, and I can say it has actually gone ahead to be almost that we call a perfect timing, right? So that's something we're looking into as well, and he's doing it for the people, neighbor. He doesn't have any ulterior motive, as the opposition does, and he really and truly, neighbor, he just wants to get Jamaica back to the footing of where we can actually start to achieve the goals that he stated he wanted to between 2025 to 2030. So he did a good job, neighbor. He was a lot more assertive. That's something that we don't normally see coming from him a lot, but when he does, it is when it's required. All right, and I know he put so many things to asunder, because when we look at it, we heard some questions from the opposition that really and truly, neighbor, they knew the answers to it, because we also knew the answers, right? And it was just them trying to nitpick at things and see what they can get, because also they wanted a reaction from Andrew Holness, neighbor. They've been searching for it. From elections after elections, they want to get a specific reaction from him, and he has yet to give them, and I doubt he will ever give them that reaction, because they're searching for that one thing that they can put him to the test too. But what they're failing to understand, and Scratchy allude to it, he has learned, neighbor. It's one of the prime ministers that we've seen that has grown through every test he's been put through. Every time a situation demands him to be better than before, he has risen to the test, and he keeps growing, neighbor. He's somebody who's willing to learn, adapt, pivot, and do what is required to ensure that Jamaica not just survives, but also Jamaica goes into the world books and hit new higher highs, neighbor. And that's what we're seeing right now, even in a disaster.
Fantastic. Gustav, few words on your Prime Minister as we go.
Well, neighbor, I too am very pleased and impressed with the way the Prime Minister would have addressed the nonsense being spewed by different people, not only PMP, but also neutrals probably, who don't have any awareness nor understanding as to governance and also how government operates, right? And I am glad that he, in a synopsis, shut down a lot of these nonsense that were spewed out there against him, his performance, and also the government as a whole. I am also satisfied with the decorum that he portrays, neighbor. I really like his traits, you know, real leader. Just basically all that Scratchy and Harry would have mentioned about him earlier is what I would have repeat if I were to be asked, right? So as a whole, neighbor, I know that Jamaica will rise again because we have the right leader in terms of Prime Minister at the right time and the right government at the right time. So like we prevailed through other ordeals, pandemic and others, I trust that we will pull through again on the back of good stewardship and good governance from this Prime Minister and his team. I am just humbly awaiting how he handles things generally going forward and watch the process, but I trust it whilst I watch it.
Would I surprise you if I told you, Gustav, that since we started at 7 o'clock, we have had more than 7,000 viewers?
I with ease believe that, neighbor. I mean, the platform continues to display a certain caliber, and it's only getting better when you have people like Scratchy and Harry on the panel, and even others as well, without singling out anyone specifically. But when you have the type of persons in your box and the type of conversation that you center your life around, the current affairs, and allow for truth to thrive, and also the breaking down of government and governance, It's really impeccable and unmatched. There are no other platforms on the TikTok known to me that can be compared to this. And not to discredit anyone else's platform that has good information, but the way how this would have grown, Neighbour, I am just being honest, and I really hope and desire for the best of the platform going forward. And it's panelists and listeners as well. I really am pleased, Neighbour, really. Given that I've been here, especially myself and Scratchy, have been here from scratch, you know, pun intended, Scratchy being here from scratch. Yeah, man. So, yeah, man.
I'm just going to tell you, say, bro, you play a big role too. Don't only for yourself.
Yes, I remember, big role in that. When we were with 40 people, you know.
80, all these numbers. I remember vividly when I just discovered you with around 8,000 odd people. I was saying, where was this man with 8,000 odd followers, and we never know about this man that is representing the same cause as we are until we met. And we're not sorry we have, and it's like a family now. The chemistry, the bond, the conversation is almost inevitable what we will give to the audience. Nothing but the truth.
Did you know that, sir, that more people watch this program on the For You page than actually come up? I don't know why.
I believe you, man. And these are some people who don't want to make it known that they're listening, probably out of feelings, you know what I mean, quote unquote feelings. But nonetheless, Neighbour, I think you appreciate their listening nonetheless, like I too appreciate it, you know, because whichever medium they choose to listen from, be it on the live itself or the FYP, of course, we welcome their ears at any time, and we crave their attention and understanding, which is why we're here at the end of the day anyways.
Okay. Did you know we are at 3 minutes? There are 21 people in the box that wants to come up here now, you know, Gustav. 21.
Yes. always wanting to give an input. Always wanting to give an input.
21, sir. And I am telling you, we're clocking up to almost 8,000 soon. You know, yes, sir, that we're doing close to 200,000 viewers per month. You know that, Gustav?
Yes, Neighbour. I would have heard you mention that time and time again. Yes.
Yes, sir. And when I get the report from the company, I am told that there is no show in Jamaica that carries our content that is even close to us. Not even close.
We might leave a few people scratching their heads and might open their eyes and, like, you know, but Neighbour, it is what it is. It is what it is. And we have done this under trying circumstances.
They're open their eyes?
You can find a few people that are up in there, you know. Yeah. But nonetheless, man, we love each other. Since we represent the same patriotic cause, we may not connect verbally to show that we represent the same cause, but the presence alone is worth acknowledging.
They're up in their eyes, huh? I tell you. You know, I must tell you the truth. I've seen a lot in my life, and I'm living to see more, because I realize that a lot of people are copying us. They're doing things that we started to do. So watch me and them.
Yeah, Neighbour. You see, in closing, I mean, them say pressure bust pipe, you know, but another metaphor goes like this. It says pressure also creates diamond. So I guess we are the diamonds being created out of pressure.
Well, we have some of the most fantastic listeners too, you see, Gustav.
Yes, man.
Some of the most fantastic listeners. They are so loyal and they're so very kind. But as kind as you are, listeners, we need 2 people to send $20 to Caroline's, well, not Caroline's, the Cash App or the Zelle account. No, you see, we need that for tomorrow. So please, at least 2 persons, throw in $20. Gustav, we must meet before Christmas to have a beer.
Well, I totally agree with you, sir. In fact, it could be around the table, line between yourselves and I and many others. I mean, why not?
Yes,
we have become a family now. We have come afar, so it's just as well we complement it by shaking hands physically now.
Yes, so we must meet and have a beer. Do you drink Red Stripe? You drink Red Stripe?
Oh yes, man. I am a drinker of a lot of alcoholic beverages. I probably have one specific that I love most, which is the Real Nephew Overproof. But I consume them.
You're a whites man?
Well, if you were from my area where the whites it has its roots, then why wouldn't you be a white man?
Kulu kulu, you have little like kulu kulu or the drunk.
I am where the Appleton Estate factory is, and they are the ones that brew the white overproof rum. So we have access to the white.
Why they call it drunk bottom?
I don't know, you know. I don't know. They call it that, you know. I don't know. But they replace the name now and them call it Bosshead.
Bosshead. But by the way, there was a journalist asking for drunkers, you know, to go down.
Hey neighbor, by the way, you know, I was recently over at a place where the United States helicopter had landed. And yes man, I even helped unloaded it. And one of the soldiers, you know, saw me with a cup in my hand. And he asked me, is that the white rum? And I said yes. And he actually asked if he could have got a bottle to buy. And he actually sent a young man to get a bottle for him. So they actually too love the white rum.
Wow. Well, sir, when I meet you, I get you a glass.
I tell you, man, R2.
Of course. What you chase it with? Boom?
I don't do boom in a neighbor right now. I have a cup in my hand with some of the white rum neighbor. There's a shot. And I'm chasing it with Turbo.
Turbo is an energy drink.
Yes, the Turbo, the black bottle energy drink.
So whenever I see you come on the program and you are very fluent and you keep going, I must know that it's because you have something in your hand.
I probably think you're right, you know?
Yes, I know that. As a matter of fact, I know that of Scratchy too. Scratchy? Scratchy?
Yes, neighbor.
I look for the signs, you know, because I know you are a man where you use a man where meditate.
Yeah, neighbor, I'm a strong meditator, neighbor. So you know, I have to have a little drink and a little sip on the side.
Yes, and I know when you're under your element, you know, Scratchy, because you're better.
you know that different Scratchy when we're under the element.
I know when you're under your element, you know, Scratchy, you know, you come, you tear the place apart, man.
Boy, just to how long we have been around neighbor, that it does solidify what I said earlier. We all know about each other's habits now. You know?
You bet? Yes.
Right.
Yes. Well, he's my brother. I feel like I want to call him my son. Scratchy is my backup every time, you know.
Boy, neighbor, it's really fun to know that we are patriots. The fun we're enjoying now, it's patriotic fun. Because it is patriotism that would have brought us together. And really and truly, though we masquerade under the JLP's banner, it's really because of a patriotic cause, because the JLP represents patriotism more than the other political side. So the patriotic bond that we form here, it is unmatched, and hence your program too becomes one of the more sought after one, you know?
Yes. Well, you know, as I said, my brother, I appreciate everyone, and I will never be ungrateful. I am just the face of the program, but you are the ones that get it going. Your voices are the ones that people hear. I can't leave out Caroline. I must tell you.
Miss Caroline.
Yes. She has. By the way, I wonder what she drinks. Miss Caroline, what is it that you drink? I wonder if it's just the whites. Gustav. next year, March, is going to be 1 year since we are on the air. 1 year. Next year, March.
1 year?
Yes. And
that's my birth month, neighbor. That's my birth month,
yes, we have to fly down Scratchy and have a party, not true? You don't think so?
That's my birth month,
In good stuff?
Yes, neighbor, of course, neighbor. I mean, come on, man. It doesn't take a lot for us to converge and have a line, because, I mean, after all, we're just happy to be alive and meeting with each other. And
yes,
we're just grateful for the moment. So, I mean, anything goes on the day, man.
That's right. So it would have been 1 year. The second day that I came on this program, Scratchy came on. I don't know where he came from. Must have been God who sent him. And he has never left. He has never left. And I appreciate you very much, Scratchy. Appreciate you much.
Thank you very much, neighbor. I mean, I remember on the second day, I remember from a cave, I didn't leave, I said, neighbor, we're going to build it, man. We're going to do the right thing and spread the information,
Yes.
And since that, we've been in Gusto joined us,
Yes.
Gusto joined us within the same week.
Not now going for me these days, but I promise that anytime it go on Scratch, I'm going to scratch off something for you.
No, man, neighbor, you don't have to worry yourself, man. I don't know, this whole thing is not transactional thing. Nothing have to go on, Have to go on, neighbor.
Man, purity, man. Transactional, Yeah, and neighbor, I want to show some respect to some neighbor. Me not have to call them by name, but the people know themselves. I just want to say thanks and respect to some people who genuinely check for me and through your platform as well and other platforms. But nonetheless, man, me really appreciate even sentiments and words of comfort and them thing, the neighbor. All of it go far away. And I just want people to know say it resonate deep within. Especially sometimes when your personal challenges can get the best of you or seem like it don't get the best of you. These little subtle sentiments, them go far away. I want the people them know that neighbors say we value everything, because when it comes to genuineness, we're not really transactional, as Scotty say, you understand? So the simple sentiments, neighbor, where people give me and they even know me from Adams, we really appreciate it big time.
Big time. I see John Major saying he wants to meet Caroline. Well, I would encourage Caroline not to meet John. I don't need to be giving advice to them. Don't meet John.
Easy,
I hear him promising Caroline breadfruit. If I want Caroline breadfruit when you come to Jamaica.
I wonder if John Major wants to give Caroline a little minor.
Bread. You want to give Caroline bread?
I have no problem with him giving her the breadfruit, neighbor, as long as it's not any cow food.
John, you don't have no breadfruit at Portland then. Leave Caroline alone. He's a Portland man, he's a Portland man. All right, guys. We had a great night. Thank you so much for here. Scratchy, tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely tomorrow. All right, Gusto, big up, man.
Yeah, manners, bro. G. Yeah, Harry, big up. Yeah, man, respect.
Harry on the lorry. Take care of yourself, brother. You are the most sought after commentator on TikTok. What an excellent program, eh? John Major, you're over there in Portland on the stand, huh? Oh, brother, you're the brother that's promising the breadfruit. Suit, breadfruit.
All right, neighbor. So another time.
We no gather, man, and drink up the whites there, so I send off last, so me drunk a batty or drunk or whatever.
Yeah, let's see how much I can consume, neighbor, because normally it left a lot of man on their back or on their bottom. You go pick your struggle and pick it well.
Struggle to get up.
1 or 32, pick your struggles. Off your bottom.
I'm not gonna make you have neighbor ask who make the rum, you know.
Who make the rum? And who make the rum?
Neighbor, you know you're not good. Leave it, you know.
Yes. Yeah, well, I won't leave me on my back, sir. I'm always
All right.
standing. You know? I'm always standing. Turn up, neighbor. Turn up on your foot.
Turn up, neighbor, man.
Turn up. Take care. Yes, John Major. So you're saying that we have a little appointment down at Buff Bay.
Yes, neighbor. Neighbor, I have a personal friend of mine, good friend. And he have the ideal spot where we do the best jerk chicken, jerk pork, steamed fish, grilled fish, you name it.
That's in Portland?
Yes, neighbor. The place is about 2 miles outside of Buff Bay before you get to Buff Bay. That is in Hartill. That is in the community where I am living. Excellent place.
Lovely.
So that's the exact place. That's the ideal place, neighbor. We could sit and have that beer. I know that Scratchy is overseas, so maybe Scratchy will be absent for now, but we could meet and with good stuff, have a drink, have a chat, and maybe we can host the program from there.
In Portland?
In Portland.
Well,
neighbor, I want to tell you, you are growing in numbers in Portland.
Portland people love me, sir?
Wait, what, neighbor? Let me tell you something. Even today, I was at a grave digging in St. Mary, and a young lady was saying to me, I always listen to you and neighbor, I know.
Is a nice young lady?
Yes, man. Nice young lady. Nice young lady.
Young and nice.
Yes, neighbor. You know, as I say, neighbor, you are gaining a lot of traction out here in this space.
Wow. Then talk to her for me, no, man.
A lot of people love to listen to you. Then maybe they are not brave enough to share their opinion, but they listen and they are learning.
They don't want to come up and talk to me.
No, maybe some of the ladies, them are mesmerized by your charm, in the neighbor.
Which charm?
Neighbor, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm here thinking about that young girl that you're telling me about over in Portland.
Yes, neighbor.
Wondering if I could if you could make a little link for me.
Yes, neighbor. How can we arrange a suitable date where I can invite you down?
Well, you know, sir, I gotta have to talk with Caroline because
I know that you're a busy man.
Yes. Well, I'm never too busy for the ladies. You see, sir?
Yes, man. And you know, despite you busy, you must have some time for recreation.
Yes. Yeah. But I understand.
I like how we the Christmas holidays upon us. I think we can make a date, neighbor. You come down and we have a drink, we have a chat. Maybe we can. I will meet
that young lady. I will meet that young lady, sir.
Neighbor, you will have many young ladies to meet. Many.
Well, that's nice. I will have place to sleep.
I will expose to you how popular I am in Portland.
Lovely. Okay.
So meeting young ladies, neighbor, that could be in the abundance.
Right. So Caroline is here. I wonder if she'll give me time off to visit Portland. Let me ask her.
What's the question?
I have John online, and he wants to invite me to Portland, specifically Buff Bay. To see how buffs are and have a drink. I wonder if I could get a few days off over the Christmas holidays.
Well, you're at the right place, neighbor. You could ask your listeners, not me.
Listeners,
the ones you need to ask.
Listeners, would you give me a little time off to go to Portland? I promise I'll behave myself, and I'll be back in one piece. Call it Sweetwater meets Scratch. Candy Rain say yes. Shernet say yes. Liverpool say yes. All right then. We don't need any more yeses.
You're probably.
And I promise you, neighbor, when you come down to Portland, you know, you're gonna make Portland a destination.
Well,
Portland is wonderful, man. Portland is wonderful.
I have been to Portland before, once.
John, you know, Portland is just the most beautiful place you can ever go.
Very beautiful and relaxing.
Really nice. You know, John, I will be there soon. I'll be there in 2 weeks.
I'm looking forward to it, Caroline. I hope I will get the chance to meet you.
Of course. Where exactly are you?
I am in Harthill. I am 5 miles outside of Anatomy town in Portland.
Nice. I'll be in Enfield. You know that, right?
Yeah, man, I know Enfield quite well. I have family living there.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'll contact you once I get there, John.
Okay, Caroline.
Of course. Neighbor, I think you need to get permission from Daphne.
But I noticed you said you were going to be here and you would meet John. You don't intend to at least come say hi to me?
Oh, where exactly are you, neighbor? Which side of the country are you?
Well, then, if you didn't care to know, you didn't care to offer, then it's fine. I leave you with John. It's fine.
Are you in Kingston, neighbor?
No. I'm saying that you said you would be here and you would be going to see John. I never heard you say you'd come, so that's all right. It's fine.
But I'm asking you now, are you in Kingston